Now, hey everybody, and welcome to Wow Talk. I'm back again with another episode that I think everybody's going to enjoy, especially for people on WoW, because here recently I've had to take down a lot of videos that had to do with sightings of ghosts and UFOs, which I didn't really like, but I got some good news. We have an opportunity to do an interview with a guy by the name of John Bell. Now, John Bell has been in the, well, I guess you could say he's been doing what was traditional for a while, for a lot of years, but he also is going to be here giving commentary on some of the sightings that he's had with UFOs. Now, I met him last night. I want to put it out there because I wouldn't have been able to met John if it wasn't for what's the name of that show? It was the
Cafe Enigma.
all new Cafe Enigma is what it was, and I'd like to say thanks to those guys over there for allowing me or for introducing me to John, and also to I have a real hard time with his name, but
I can't say it either. Don't feel bad.
it's really a weird last name, but his name is Mark Washchazek. Washchazek, something like that. I'll give a shout out to him, and if you guys have a chance, check out his stream. It's pretty good. So with that, I'd like to welcome you, John, to the show, and I would like to hear a little bit of background about you. Kind of tell us a little bit about your history when it comes to UFOs, stuff like that, and then we can get on to the footage and everything, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. It's nice to meet you. Um, Probably about, I'm thinking I moved here down in South Central Florida probably about 13 years ago. And at that point, I started noticing stuff in the sky, objects that were way up there with the satellites. And they didn't belong. Obviously, it wasn't satellites. And first two I seen was like welding torches coming together. And there was a third one that was sitting there invisible that when those two met and they went right past each other, the other one lit up and went over to the horizon. That was it. I was like, man, I got to figure out how to record these things because I seeing is believing, but if you got a video, then it happened. You can prove it happened then. So fast forward 10 years later, I finally, after experimenting and buying different equipment and talking to all these people over the years, uh, I finally figured out that I had a night vision that would actually work. And the night vision is high definition, uh, doesn't have a iris in the back of the lens. It's just a bank of sensors in the back. So I don't have the problem of having lens flares and all that other stuff that's associated with regular photography. And it was a whole lot cheaper when you get all the high definition out of one package without having to swap lenses or do all this or download your pictures onto a long program that processes them so you can see what you actually videoed or captured. And mine's pretty straightforward. It's I download it straight off my night vision scope onto my telephone, and from the telephone I've got a small editing program where I can shorten the videos or make them longer and take out the parts where I'm just sitting there and I left the record button on too long and it's just sitting there looking at the side of my truck. So now that I got that equipped, uh, I can post the videos pretty rapidly now without having to go through a lot of trouble. I can have a video up that I've recorded in the yard less than 5 minutes. I'll have it up and it'll be on YouTube posted. And anyway, I started when I finally got to where I could record what I was looking at. I had a bunch of questions because seeing it is one thing, but when you've got a high definition night vision where you can really see the details, I didn't know what I was looking at in some of these objects. And I still go through the old videos that are 3 years old now and see the details in the video, and I'm like, what the hell is that? What was that? And then I get to looking, I'll figure it out. I'll slow it down to where I can see it good, and it'll be some object that I didn't even know was there. It was just going so fast, it didn't register in my brain that I just had an object fly by. So the first video he's going to put up is I'd been videoing for about a year, and this one object in particular, I had recorded it numerous times. It's just I didn't expect it to get this close. It got within 1,000 feet in the video. You can see that, and it is hexagon shaped, and it's very bright, like the sun or star, and about size of a bus, almost as big as a jet airline, but not quite. And you'll see it.
Okay, let me get this going real quick.
So did you find the link?
Yeah, I got the link. I got it going on to your John Bell one. That's the first one on top, right?
Yeah, the first one I sent you, first link.
Okay.
It's coming directly overhead.
Let me actually stop that real quick so that I can
Wow.
put it on the OBS and let people see it. All right.
Yeah, it helps if they can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so got it set up and start it from the beginning.
On this one,
All right.
there's a tree. You can see how big it is.
And this is just one type of object.
coming
This is a
directly
large
overhead.
UFO sphere.
Well, I guess you guys did come back.
The next link I'm going to show you is a whole different object.
Wow. You got 2 minutes worth of footage there too. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's only half of it.
Oh wow, seriously.
You know
Yeah,
where
that's
I
only
see it.
half. There's a part 2 to that also.
Oh,
And
wow.
then
I
let's
sit
see,
here
I
all
met-
the time.
I met a couple of
Just
people
glad you
because they
came.
grabbed a video off of Facebook, and I never posted it on Facebook. And I was like, wow,
Appears
how'd
to
you
be
get
the
my
same.
video?
One in a video.
And somebody put it together, and I was like, wow, at least they did a good job putting it together.
He's probably going to pick up speed and go straight up. Or he's going to hang out above me, one or the other.
So, yeah, I've got another one that
It's up
I
there,
think
dude.
it stayed in view 4 minutes.
Wow.
And it got not as close as that one, but the
Might as
object
well come
itself
down
is
and
bigger than
hang
that
in
one.
the yard. Shit.
Now,
I got a
did you
spot cleared
ever
for you. I'm
figure
sure
out
we'll
if
work
it was
something
an
out.
orb or if it was something that was flying high up into the air?
Oh, it's solid object.
Solid.
Yeah, it's solid object. Yeah, I actually did a report on MUFON with that one,
Might as well
and
bring your
it came back
friends.
UFO. So
Wow.
He's probably big enough. They'd all probably
yeah, it's a
fit.
no-brainer when it's that close and it's not moving
Look at
very
the
fast
energy
and it's
coming
looking
off
at you
that.
and it makes a turn.
Yeah,
He's directly over my head right now.
that's pretty cool.
What's up there, buddy? Well, come on down. I ain't scared. You ain't bother me none.
It did look like it was actually going to try to come down, didn't it?
I had
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
5,000 maybe.
Yeah,
in the
it was
yard.
so bright I thought it
Nice.
was an airplane landing light. That's what I thought it was initially.
Yeah,
And
it's cool.
there was actually a
He's
small
so
plane. They were
It doesn't
headed to
have
each
the
other,
edges on him,
like
buddy.
head-on collision kind of thing, and the plane's not moving very fast. It was like a Cessna,
Mm-hmm.
and the UFO's not moving very fast. Well, the next thing I know, it turned and it came towards me, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird. That must be a helicopter or something. And it got a little bit closer, and I'm like, holy crap. Then I'm like, did I push the record button? Oh, my God. Because that happens before. I've actually did that. I'm like, man, I got the neatest UFO footage. Look, and the record button is off, and you're like, oh.
I'll tell you what, that was pretty good footage right there. I know last night you guys were sharing stuff with me on my account and everything, and I went on here to try to find it, And the only thing I got from you that is still on there was the Alien Orb Visit beginning number one, and then the short version Hyper Disc with the
Yep.
creepy sound.
Yep.
All those other, all the other stuff that you posted up on the Cafe Enigma, none of it was there. So
Yeah, that's Mark. Mark, when he leaves and shuts that lobby down, it does something to it. I don't know, but Mark's has some technical difficulties on his show because the internet is not what it used to be. It's like maybe the sun is interfering with it. We don't know what's going on,
yeah.
but it keeps dropping people out of the show. And
hmm I know that when we were talking about the the stuff that you've done on videos, you were telling me that this is years and years of thousands of video clips, pretty much that you've
it's about 3 years worth.
3 years. And
3 years, and there's 1,400 videos on there, and I don't post the normal stuff. I only post anything that catches my eye or that I think somebody would like to watch.
hmm
There's a lot of footage I have where the UFOs they're so high you really can't see them that good, and they're not doing anything. They're just going across, and it's like, okay, see you later, buddy. But sometimes you get them, they'll flash you back. Sometimes they flash me first. I'll be sitting out there on the back of the truck videoing, and I'll take a break, and next thing you know, I get the Dickens flashed out of me. Like it's kind of like somebody walked up with one of them old Kodak cameras with a
hmm
flash bulb and took your picture. It's
Oh,
kind of like that, and then I can tell where it came from, and then 9 times out of 10, it's a little bitty object up there, just barely moving. That's the one that did it.
oh.
And you wonder how in the hell did they put such a powerful beam down on me on my truck? Because it's not hitting the whole yard; it just hits me.
Now,
But
have you
you
been
don't ignore them. You can't ignore them in the yard; they'll get your attention.
have you been keeping track with like watches and stuff, making sure that you didn't have any like lost time or anything?
Yeah, they can get me anytime. Because when I was doing the construction job, we were building these comfort stations at a big golf course over here, and at getting up early in the morning, I was just dragging tail, and I'm out there trying to video you. And next thing I know, I go,
Oh my goodness.
wake up 20 minutes later, and I'm like, okay, I'm still here.
Yeah.
But I've got at least two videos where, hey, I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I looked completely different direction, and there's a UFO flying by.
Wow.
So at first I thought, maybe they're reading my mind. They've got to be able to read my mind because they know where I'm looking with my little scope. And then I got to thinking about it. And I was like, well, they got to be able to read my mind. How the hell would they know where I was looking? Because I've got a little bitty objective on my scope. It's not some wide pan view of half of the sky. It's not like that. I've got a small view of the sky, but it's high definition and it's just a little area. But how they know to be there at the right place at the right time is a mystery. It's not like I've got 400 UFOs going across the sky the whole time and I just look up and I video one. There'll be 3 UFOs maybe in one afternoon, and that's it. That's all they'll do.
hmm
And then they're finished. Uh, but I'll have 2 or 3 of those recordings, at least 2 of them, if not 3 of them. And
That
I've thought
seems.
about it. That's the question that's drove me crazy for ever since I noticed it. And somebody made the comment one time because they move very fast. Oh, that's a meteorite. Well, I must have had that on my mind when I went out in the yard recording because ever since then they turn now and they do flips. They don't do the straight across the sky stuff anymore. And that part is it's. I just thought it was hilarious. They started doing that. And not only do they do that, it's like they're coming out into the atmosphere real quick. They come in, and it's almost like they try to put the brakes on just long enough for me to get a picture of them before they zip out of the sky again. And I have over 1,000 of these things, and it's not coincidence. It's not meteorites, any of that stuff. It took me a whole year to film a meteorite.
Yeah.
You know, we have falling stars down there all the time. It took me over a year to film one meteorite, and I was like, oh my God. By the time I get my scope up, the thing is burned out. And key word is burn. They have a tail to it, and you can see the obvious difference in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the editing program, that allowed me to zoom in on my video, and because I'm high definition, I'm digital. You can see that a lot of these flybys that I thought was cigars and Tic Tacs, they're not. They got a top on, and that's kind of that was cool. I was like, wow, I can see the top on it. Look at that.
Yeah, when you was talking about the cigar spaceships last night, it reminded me. I don't know if you ever gotten into like a Skinwalker Ranch or nothing, but they
Yeah,
have,
I've seen some of those episodes.
no, I mean like the old original book from what's his name, the guy that owns Hojo, and he's really into science.
Yep.
He went out there and owned it first, and the guys that own the property there was telling their story, and they wrote a book about it. And the woman who lived there said that frickin' they even had an incident where a craft that looked like a frickin' RV was parked right next to the house, and they could look straight across and see this alien sitting there like he at a desk through a window, man. And I was like,
That's
oh,
cool.
I was like, that's some crazy stuff, you know.
So anyway, if you could show that compilation of flybys, this is only 6 months worth. It's not anywhere close to the whole collection. But I've slowed them all down. They're all slowed down to 20% speed, so everybody can see them.
Okay, no, I'm gonna mute the commercial so that we don't give YouTube any special kind of advertisement. We don't care about their, click games, like, you know what I mean? Those little games that you go in and click on and stuff like that. So,
Oh, I know.
all right, so I'm gonna give it the widescreen too. And I've had to do this with Bob Dub, so I kind of got a little background on it, on how to get it to where it looks nice.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got that set up.
Yeah, I can't see it playing anywhere, so.
Yeah, I've got it on YouTube. I've got it on Rumble, and I've got it on Odyssey.
Yeah, I'm on Rumble also. Anything I record on YouTube automatically gets downloaded to Rumble, but I don't have near as many views as I do as X. X is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take all day long to get 50 views on YouTube, but it takes sometimes less than 2 minutes to get 50 views on X.
I see, now that's nice, because you see the star shooting straight across right there.
Yeah.
That's real. Yeah, now, that's another thing, too, you mentioned. Like, you said you don't do videos on them too much, but I asked you last night about the rods and everything. You said you've actually taken video footage of the rods, too, didn't you? The ones that shoot up out of the ground?
I captured one for you last night that's very, very clear. Actually, it's posted on my YouTube channel. It's the last video I put up. If you can get over there to the channel and see it.
Okay.
If not, I can send you the link to it too.
Yeah, I'm on your channel at the moment too. So it's after this, if you want to, we can go through it and stuff. Here, I could probably send you the link to my stream. I've got.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just for you. After you said that, and I was like, yeah, I'll send him this. I'll capture it and go ahead and upload. It's got 42 views on it. That's how many it's got.
I actually went and did some research on it when I first heard about those, and like there's this one guy, I think he lives out on the West Coast. He says that freaking they happen to him all the time. And
Yeah, I see them. I never pay any attention to them, and I really don't post them too much. It's people on my channel, they're confused enough as it is. You put something like this in there, they go, well, that's got to be a bug, right? And I'm like, no, it's not a bug. So I got really aggravated at the people that that were calling my orbs bugs and dust and stuff like that. I went out there in the pouring down rain, and I mean pouring down rain. If you were a bug, you couldn't have flew to save your life. It was raining so hard, it'd have washed you out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I captured the orbs in the pouring rain, and it does not affect them at all. Doesn't mess with them, not one little bit. And then the other thing I did was I went out there several nights this winter when it was in the 30s. And in the 30s in Florida, there's nothing flying in Florida.
Yeah.
You drop the temperature down to 30 degrees down here, everything dies or shuts down.
That's what I was getting ready to say. The fruit, especially, like you
I had a yard full of orbs like you wouldn't believe. I had so many that I didn't know which way to look. And then there were some new ones that showed up that weren't even round. They were cubes. And I had some small Tic Tac looking shaped objects. And then they paired up. And the difference in my orbs and everybody else's orbs is obviously the size, because I can measure off the treetop. I film on the treetop in the same location every time. That way I know how big the object is, and I know it's in focus. And I've got manual focus. My scope doesn't go dilly-dallying around trying to focus on it. It's already focused. If I focus on that treetop, anything around that treetop, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
It's not going to show a speck of dust or a little tiny bug. It'll pick up little moths and stuff like that. You can see them in the background, but I can pick up the wings on the bat, their little ears sticking up. I pick up all that stuff, the dragonflies. But when an orb shows up, it's sitting right next to it. It's in focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's not sitting there 2 foot in front of me to make the orb. It actually goes behind the tree. That's what makes the difference. Is mine doesn't bounce around like the orb is 2 foot in front of me. They're actually 20 to 40 feet away.
Yeah.
And the tree itself is 23 foot in one spot and 43 foot in the other spot. I've got it measured off. I have a laser rangefinder, infrared laser, built into the other scope, so I know exactly the distance of all the stuff in the yard. So it's pretty easy to size it up. You can say, well, that's a basketball and that's a beach ball, and that thing there is 6 foot big.
Yeah.
Here it comes,
Yeah. I like how you said you use the tree too, because that helps to freaking give it perspective.
Yep.
Make sure everybody knows. Look, it's going back behind that tree, so it's not something in front of it.
Well, in 3 years, I've only seen a bat go after one of these orbs, and the bat that did it got within about maybe 2 feet distance of it, and it did an immediate 360-degree turn and went back the way it came from. I figure the orb has probably got some electrical, discharge or some kind of shielding around it. No. The most incredible thing that's happened to me, as far as the orbs go, I have an orb that it's in a bunch of my videos. It's the only one that's visible without infrared. You do not need infrared to see it. I've seen it with my naked eye one time, and it's dark. Doesn't show up very well, but it can come up and flash you right in the face. And it's the fastest thing that you've ever seen. You've never seen anything this fast. And it's got a sense of humor. But one night I was sitting on the back of the truck, and I film off, you know what an LMTV is?
No, not really.
It's a big troop transfer military truck. It's a military truck that sits, I forget, 18 people in the back, 3 in the front. It weighs 16,000 pounds. Well, it's way off the ground, so I put a recliner up in the bed of this truck, and that's what I record off of because it's stable, and then it keeps me out of the mosquitoes. I hate putting on bug spray. Man, I get it in my eye all the time. I hate that.
Yeah.
And then you smell. So the truck, with it being a diesel truck, the mosquitoes don't like it anyway, so I might get 1 or 2 mosquitoes, come flying up, and that's about it. But I'm sitting on the truck just filming the orbs one night. Something hits the truck and it shakes it. The whole entire truck shakes. It shook me. And I'm thinking, at the time, I said, well, must be one of the dogs hit it in the yard,
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that, hey, this truck, you can't move this truck. And then I got to looking at the video, and I rewound it. I captured the orb just before it struck the truck. You can actually see it hitting. So I thought about it, and we took a metal detector. We thought, man, we got a miniature Roswell out here in the yard. You know, they're going to be little pieces of UFO out here somewhere in the ground because it struck it so hard, you know. There wasn't a mark on the truck. There ain't nothing in the yard. We found every beer tab from 1970 out there. And, yeah, the only thing I
Big
can
orb with a
figure out,
mark on it, right?
it's got a
Here.
force field around it. So about a week
really
later, I
close.
captured a video of it, real
Keep up
close,
with it.
playing around in my face. I mean, it's real fast. And you can clearly see there's like a shell on the
Another one with a
outside,
dark
and the
spot
orb is
right
on the inside.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
almost, you can see the shielding on the orb. So that was what it was, but I think it was a demonstration. I don't think it was an accident because it
Just
couldn't
hanging
drive,
out.
you know. I don't think it lost its way and just
It goes right over
rammed
my
into the
head.
truck. I think it's intentional.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about that too, but at the time I had a friend of mine that said, you know what? We could try to capture that thing and we could knock it down, you know, maybe with a shotgun and electrify it somehow, you know. And I'm like, dude, I don't think you might want to do that. It was probably about that time frame to where that thing ran into the side of the truck, and probably that was a demonstration showing me that you're not going to do anything to me. So
Yeah. Now I popped up that well, I thought I did. I popped up that second one on your account for that on X, and I believe I've
It's
got it.
coming directly
I
overhead.
know, here it is. Let me stop that one real quick. It's the second one that you showed on X. I'm gonna put that up real quick because I know you wanted to show that one too. I was only able to get the first one going, so
well, that's okay.
but that one right there, I just looked over it and I didn't realize I hadn't switched the OBS over to it, so
Yep.
I figured I'd let everybody see what this is. This one is actually pretty interesting because when you were just talking, I could see like
Big orb with a mark on it right here. Well, he's really close. You can keep up with him.
And see, this brings me. It reminds me
Another one
of
with a
the
dark
stories
spot
I've heard
right there.
about over in well,
Is that
over
filler?
here in what do they call that? The forest right next
Just
to us
hanging
in
out.
Missouri, Cape Girardeau.
Yeah.
He goes
Yeah.
right over my head.
Because they have a lot of sightings of orbs over there too. I'm having a brain fart. I can't even remember it, and it's like
Well,
right next to me.
my orb, the one that hangs out with me, it's always something different every week. Something will change. There'll be a new UFO will show up. This week it's been the symbols on the orb, and then now I have these blue UFOs. I mean, they're pure blue, but none of
Big
them
orb
have
with a
come down
mark
low
on it
enough yet.
right
I can
here.
see them. They're probably sitting at 30,
Well, he's
40,000
really
feet
close.
going across.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up
None
with
of them have come down close yet, but it's a matter of time. They probably will. Everything else does, so I don't know why they wouldn't. Um,
Is that filler?
but I've got a compilation of intervention, or what do you call it when you're sitting there?
Just hanging out.
It'll flash you, and you flash it
He
back, and
goes
then
right
back
over
and
my
forth.
head.
Oh,
I've got thousands of those too.
no, that reminds me. When you were talking about that earlier, it reminds me of what's his name, Doctor. What's his? I forgot his.
Greer?
Yeah, Greer. He talks
Yeah.
about doing meditation and stuff like that. Do you think that stuff is possible when it comes to it, like being able to talk to these?
I don't know. They had a get together. The CE5 people did, and it looked like, what do you think, 40
Big
people
orb
in
with a
that
mark on
video,
it right
honey?
here.
Yeah.
Probably around 40 people
Well,
met
he's
out
really
here on the
close.
beach somewhere. I think it was
Keep
North
up with
Carolina. And, you know, between all that meditating stuff, the only thing I seen, it could have been a ship's
one with a
light
dark
out there
spot
blinking
right
at them.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Is that filler?
You know, if you got that many people meditating, I want that thing to put down 3 landing gears and land in the sand next to me and get out and,
Just hanging out.
hey, we come in peace, you know.
He goes
Yeah.
right over
And
my head.
I walk out the door. The moment I walk out the door, they're already there. I don't have to wait on them. And then it's kind of like when the first year I was doing it, I would be out there to 11 to 12, 1 o'clock in the morning filming this stuff. And they were showing up at 1 o'clock in the morning. They were showing up at 12 o'clock. And then after a while, it was like there was, I don't know, maybe they realized that I was kind of tired out there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can get away with it. I can go out there and stay till 10 o'clock. I'm good to go. And it's been that way for a long time now. If I stay past 10 or 11, won't hardly see anything at all. Nothing. They've already done their thing in an hour, hour and a half, and they're gone. And I'm back in the house watching TV, downloading videos, whatever. So at least they're nice about it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was asking you about with like keeping track with a watch and everything when that happens. Because I mean, the real question I'm wanting to ask is, do you think that maybe at some point they've freaking abducted you and put you back where you were?
No, I got an experience when I was a kid. If you remember the Pascagoula, Mississippi incident
Yeah.
back in 1973, you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, we lived in Memphis at the time, and I think I was about 5 or 6 years old. I wasn't very old, but I was terrified of the dark. I used to run into the bed, and I'd cover myself up with them covers, and I'd go to sleep. I didn't care if it was burning up in the house or not. I had to, just didn't like the dark at all. And one night, I just sat down in the bed, hadn't even got the covers up yet. And I looked at the window next to me, and there was a little. It was just like somebody was playing a cartoon projector on the window, and the window was literally right next to the bed. I mean, I could reach over and touch the bed. The bed was pushed all the way up into the wall, and the window's right there. And I ain't even laid down yet, and there's a little dang teddy bear cartoon going on right there, about 8 inches tall, and it just looked really clear. The clarity of it was it was something you just, back then I didn't know how to describe it. Nowadays, it was a laser hologram. That was exactly what it was. And I looked at that and I was thinking, what in the hell is a cartoon bear doing on my window like that? So I look over at it, and the next thing I know, there's somebody sitting on the foot of the bed, wearing white. Could have been Jesus for all I know. All I know, they had a white robe. It was a man. And I was like a little bit taken back by that. But then the curiosity of that teddy bear, I looked back at the teddy bear again, and teddy bear was gone. And I looked, and the guy was gone too. So the next morning was when they had that abduction, was all over the news. And I remember the TV reporter asking one of those guys, if they'd been drinking, and the guy looked at the reporter and said, "No, ma'am, we ain't been drinking, but we had a few drinks after that."
Yeah.
And I remember that was all over the news at the time, and there was UFO sightings. The police were chasing after them in Memphis and Mississippi too. Memphis is just right across the river, same area. And I never did. I remember that for years and years and years. Still remember it like it was yesterday. But I never really thought about it. You know what I mean? Think about the experience that I had back then, because I was so young. But I knew it happened, and I knew it was real, and it wasn't some imaginary thing. But the thing that I missed was, it was about the same time frame as I started getting these migraine headaches. And they were so horrific, I couldn't pay attention in school. I just was just horrible, and I get these headaches, and it would hurt so bad I would throw up. I'd go lay in the bedroom. Mom would close the curtains down where no light could get in, and I would go into just about a coma for about 3 hours. And I'd wake up. My head didn't hurt anymore, but man, I could eat out the whole kitchen. If it was sweets or anything in the kitchen, I could eat the whole refrigerator, literally. And that went on until I was probably about 16 years old. And I just never put two and two together. And I know that, hell, I had to take remedial math and all that stuff in high school, because I really couldn't add, subtract, or multiply. When I was a sophomore, I couldn't do it. And all of a sudden, I got brains and remembered everything. Now, I can't explain that. I mean, I'm still the same way. I remember just about everything. And I became a aircraft mechanic in the Air Force and flying status, the whole 9 yards. And I was a crew chief. Great job, best job in the Air Force, as far as I'm concerned. You could get on the airplane and fly anywhere in the world. You didn't know where your plane was going to go. It could go to Australia next week, or be in England, or Germany. It was just all over the world, all over the United States. And here I am, 20-year-old kid, and I'm flying all over the world and getting paid for it. And I never did have any experiences with anything while I was in there. But when I moved down there, oh boy, yep, that's when I started really seeing stuff and paying attention to stuff. And actually, when I was younger, I found a landing spot where a saucer had went down. It had crusted up the soil to where the soil, you know how they describe it, it turns the soil into where it won't absorb moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing grew in a circle for 6 years, but I found it by accident when I was deer hunting in Tennessee, and I never put two and two together what that was. And I looked at the dirt, and it was such a mystery why it didn't grow any plants. And now we own the property. The property at the time was it belonged to the bank. The bank got it back in a foreclosure, I guess, and we own it now. But it grows grass. But I think Dad finally got tired of looking at it and probably took the backhoe and scooped the dirt up and got some fresh dirt growing on top of it where it would grow something, because it wouldn't grow anything. It was weird. I thought maybe a piece of equipment had dumped out the diesel fuel in the soil. Maybe that was why nothing would grow. And I was picking up the dirt and crumbling it around and smelling it, and that wasn't the case. It was just a mystery. But it was probably the size of a Honda Civic. Not very, very large, but
Yeah. No.
it's stuff like that you never put together until later on. At least I didn't. And
I know whenever I pay attention to a lot of that stuff, they've had cases where these saucers have landed, and whenever they take off, the stuff around it doesn't grow up. I remember there was a story of a farmer
yeah,
who had it happen to him, and then years later, I think his wife, after he had died, his wife and his son, I believe, came forward and told everybody about it. And then there was that case with the police officers where they had the police officer and his partner found that landing site out in the desert.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember hearing those two stories, but that's what that really brings to mind with me. So
Yeah, there's several cases. They said, what was the guy that was cutting the trees down and stuff? Walton, was that his name?
yes,
Walton.
yes, that was him.
They said all the trees around that area started growing towards that spot where it landed at. It actually accelerated the growth of the trees.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. I know, if you take a section of the woods where grass has grown up and all these weeds and stuff, you set fire to it within just 2-3 weeks, it is green and lush, and as far as you can see across there, and it's almost like it's like it purifies the soil and the dirt and everything, and the plants just take off like gang fire. So it's kind of like that, I guess. But that place that I'm talking about, though, that was probably radioactive.
Most
And,
likely. Most likely.
whatever it did, it had enough power to condense that soil into where it wouldn't absorb water. It was dry. I remember it being dry, and then I was like, well, hell, that's why it wouldn't grow any plants, because it was dry.
I tell everybody all the time, don't really try to guess what their power sources are. You know what I mean? Because like you stop and think about it. If these beings are supposed to be so far advanced, they could be using water to frickin' fuel their frickin' their ships to travel. You know what I mean? We don't know. I mean,
Well, there's a steel column over in India, I think it is. There's a big steel pole, kind of ornate. It's been sitting there for thousands of years. It ain't rusted yet. and it's iron.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to guess that's the center of a Vermont right there. It's just nobody realizes what the hell it is. And if you get to looking at all their writings and their documents, and they were all talking about flying machines. They go into detail how they worked.
Yep.
And that piece of iron pole in the middle of that ship, that's part of the way they work. And when they start uncovering the mercury, like they uncovered just vast amounts of mercury underneath some of the temples down in Mexico. They discovered the pools of mercury in Egypt. All over the world, anywhere you got a pyramid at, there's a big, vast amount of mercury in it.
Yep.
And even at the end of World War II, the German ships that they captured, they were hauling mercury to South America.
Yep.
The South Pole. Now, what the hell they doing with all that mercury for? I mean, how many thermometers you need to make? What are you doing with it? I mean, it's toxic. You're not going to drink it. You ain't playing with it. So it's got to be a reason to have that. And I've gave a lot of that stuff a lot of thought. And now you find out we've got Murder Incorporated killing everybody that comes up with a free energy machine. And now you find out that, hell, there's people that invented the size of a shoebox would power your house and the whole subdivision. The more you ask out of it, the more it gives you. And no moving parts. It's just pulling the energy out of the ether. And I think that's a lot of the way that these flying craft operate. I don't think they've really got a fuel on anything. I don't think they got to grab water. I don't think they got to grab any of that stuff. Now, they might need some water if they're trying to mine something on the moon or mine something on the planet Mars, or hey, we're going to go take a big, trip over here. We need some water. Yeah, I can see them filling up their ship, tank or whatever. You got to have water to flush the toilet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I never heard anybody talk about aliens where they go to the bathroom or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, they don't do that about Star Trek either. I mean, nobody knows.
They take a pill. They just take a pill. It's like, well, there goes that stomach ache. Or maybe they just get in front of a little machine that beams it out of them. I don't know.
Now that you bring up World War II, it makes me think of the Foo Fighters that were spotted during air combat. Especially with you talking about orbs and everything. That's exactly how they described it too. There were orbs.
Yeah. There's actual pictures in the newspaper of all those things, and they report them to be the size of a basketball, all the way up to larger. And thinking about the description of them, it matches a lot what I mess with out here in the yard all the time. And I'll send you this link to this video real quick. And this is the first time I discovered them. I didn't know they were there. I had no idea they were there. I was done recording for the night. I'll give you a link to it real quick. But this is my first encounter, my first video with these things. And there was two of them with a mark on the front of them. These are about, after I got a chance to measure them, they're about 2 foot in diameter is how big they are. Perfectly still, just sitting there. I don't believe I sent you this one yet. Did you see the one with the rod on it yet?
Yeah, I did that one a second ago. I showed it on the stream.
Yeah, that rod came out real clear. It's got 2 windings, one winding in the front, one winding in the back.
Yeah.
It wasn't going that fast. I slowed it down to 20% speed anyway, but still, for a rod, you know how fast those things go.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat because it was probably about 20 feet away when it came over in front of me, and I seen it go by, and I said, "Wow, that's a rod."
Now, I
and I see them all the time. I just don't bother, posting them.
Now I know the story I told you about. I mean, it actually made it to local news, and I mean, if you know anything about all this stuff, which you do, I mean, that's a big deal. And
yeah.
If you can make it on local news, that means it caught somebody's attention. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, seen the guy. The guy showed up and he was doing some wildlife photography, and he was using a high-speed camera trying to catch the birds flying across the jungle. And the guy starts running the film, and he's got these objects in there with wings on them. I mean, literally looked like they had wings, like a bow and arrow or something, swirled around the thing. And the more he looked, the worse it got. And then they set up specifically to capture those things, and then they were trying to explain them away. And another scientist comes on there and says, "That's a species of dragonfly." I'm like, well, if that dragonfly flew that fast, his damn wings would burn off. There ain't no way that's a dragonfly.
Yeah.
Because dragonflies are fast, but they're not that fast. And yeah, it's kind of like these orbs. Did you get the link yet?
Yeah, I'm
Always
showing it
look.
now.
Yeah, this thing, I didn't know they were there, and they were sitting right there, and no telling how long they've been sitting there. Now, the thing about these two orbs is, in the 3 years that I've been video recording, I've never had another orb do this since. So that's the first time I discovered them. And I guess that one orb didn't know what the hell to do. It's probably like, man, that dude could see it. I hit it with a laser beam. I did everything to it. I did everything to throw a football at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see through both of them. They're translucent.
Yeah,
And,
you can clearly see right through them even on the video.
Yep. If it was a piece of dust or a bug or whatever, the laser would have lit it up.
Mm-hmm.
It would have reflected on the laser. It would have been a green, the green laser would have done it. And I did a test with them. I took the burning laser out in the yard, and it's real strong. It'll burn the wings off a fly really quick. Now, I didn't turn it on. I just set it next to me. And there wasn't no orbs.
That's right.
I did that several nights in a row, and I said, wow, you guys really know what this is. And as soon as you put it away, there they are. They're right there back in the yard again.
Always look.
I know one thing. Once John gets on and starts seeing this video, you're going to get him fired up. He used to love getting video footage like this. He would just sit for hours and hours editing and make it to where it would look nice
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
Like,
Mine, I'm kind of crude with mine. I just put it up there. I make a point not to modify anything,
yeah.
I change the speed to where people can actually see it, because some of the videos, I mean, you got to face it, it happens so fast, you really can't tell what that is. But when you slow it down, then you realize, hell, that thing just did a turn. It's got a top on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know with John, he had the same kind of thought with it, on
Yep.
because he didn't want to modify everything. He wanted it to stay as original as
yeah,
it
that's
could.
what you want. Yeah.
And like I said, before the stream started, whenever he did that, everybody kept saying, well, you need to put something on it. And he wanted to do it, but everybody on the channel had an issue with that, because they feel the same way, but like, talk on it at least, have a conversation. And what they ended up doing is they told him the fair use thing didn't apply because he didn't alter it in some way.
Yeah. Well, we had a guest here at the house he was here right at 5 months, and you've seen him if you watch the Discovery Channel or History Channel or any of that stuff, and the UFO especially.
Mm-hmm.
He was on, I think the last programs that I seen him on was Lost in Alaska or something like that, Alaskan UFO file. I forget what the name of it was, but he was on that, and he got down here because where he was at was just with the COVID-19 and stuff. A lot of people in the Hollywood and a lot of those shows just quit. They quit filming because of COVID-19. Well, he wasn't doing anything better, so I got him down there. He probably had, I don't know how many $1,000s worth of equipment. He had the biggest Celestron I've ever seen, personally, I've been up close to. He had the high definition one with the full spectrum $6,000 camera, Nikon on the end of it, hooked to a Starlink on the end of the telescope. And it was filtered down. So he'd been capturing objects for 21 years. So he was well, rehearsed in, what this object was, what this object did. And second day he was here, that first video with that large UFO was over the house. And I just assumed he was helping me film. I didn't know he ran back to the house and locked himself in. He was terrified the second day he was here. And we were thinking, well, maybe he thought I was kidding over UFOs in the yard.
Yeah. That's why I tell everybody, just because you see them on TV and they're all brave and everything, going into the haunted houses and stuff like that, don't fall for that stuff. You know what I mean? Because you get them into the real world and all of a sudden they get scared.
Well, the question I asked him was funny. He's got over 3,000 videos up on YouTube because he's been doing a lot longer than I have. And anyway, I asked him one afternoon, I said, hey, how many UFOs have you got that are turning? And he kind of thought about it and he said, none. And I'm like, well, you're about to get some now because they all turn here, which was true. They all turn. They all make a turn or they'll go back out of the atmosphere and they do all kinds of stuff. And I thought that was really weird that in all them years he never caught one that was making a turn. And I catch them turning all the time. And some of the turning ones, if they're not spectacular, I don't even put them up. I just leave it alone. Because you can see, you follow it across the sky, well, you can't tell that really it's turning. You just got to kind of take my word for it that it was headed to the east. Well, now it's going to the south. And if you know where the stars are, you can see it making a turn, graduated turn. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. So yeah.
With Bob Dub, I have been doing this show about duality and everything, and we actually started talking about like nature, and like it's weird that this popped up, but I did bring it up to her because she's not really into UFOs and everything, but we were discussing bees and the way bees fly. And the weird part is because of their wings, they're able to make turns like UFOs do. And like with trajectory, we don't have any kind of ships that are able to make the same turns that these UFOs have been reported to make, And I thought that was interesting that bees can do the same thing, but there aren't too many other things that can naturally do that,
Yep.
So whenever I hear people talking about that now, it always makes me think of those bees and how they fly, because those are actually a mystery when it comes to nature too. So,
well, I'm going to show you a video here. I'm going to send you a link to it. And this is from, this is 2 days old. And this is a prime example of what the orbs do. They change their markings and stuff. There's always something different. And it's just every week I see something different, and I've got to sit down and make a compilation of the orbs. I really do. But this one showed up with a symbol on it. And matter of fact, if you look at it, it almost looks like a dang eyeball. But you see the marks on the one I just sent you, right? Yeah, I'm talking about the other video I just sent you before this. They lasted about 2 weeks. They all had that mark on them, and then all of a sudden that mark went away and turned into something else. And this is another example of they changed the mark again. I'm like, man, it's hard to keep up. But this is from 2 days ago, so. The thumbnail on it, you can see the mark, and it's almost like an arrow or something. But
really
if you look at it one way, it almost looks like the Masonic symbol.
Another one of the dark spot on it right there.
Yeah, he's kind of slow. I'll show you some fast ones. This one in particular, I have to show you the one where it hits my
Just
truck.
hanging out.
That video is kind of
It goes
traumatic
right over my
looking
head.
at it, but
Oh, where you at?
I mean, it really hits the
Past
truck
me.
really hard.
Behind me.
It's not playing around at all. Yeah, that one's slow. Yeah, see if I can find you the original Tinkerbell one. Oh yeah, I made a compilation for that little thing. That thing is crazy. Yep. 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 Yeah, I did a video. I heard Elon Musk talking about because he got put on the spot in two of his interviews asking about aliens, and he says I don't know anything about aliens, don't know anything about UFOs, and I was like, I got about 3 videos of UFOs doing maneuvers right in front of his train. He's got to know about them. Yep. Anyway, the other trick that the orbs learned was probably from the way I was thinking at the time. I mean, I kind of take offense to these people in armchair, and they're all an armchair expert, and they don't know anything. They don't have any videos of their own. And if you're sitting out there for 3 years filming this stuff religiously, y'all know what the hell you're looking at. So the orb started doing this, and this is recent. This is within a week or two, something like that. But they started blinking and flashing at me, and you can't get a flashing bug because at the time of the year there's no lightning bugs down here, and even if it did, it wouldn't look like that. So I sent you the link to that one real quick. But this is what they started doing. I'll go down there and see if I can find the compilation for Tinkerbell. Yep.
Another blinker. Another one blinking. Well, y'all brought friends, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, in 2012, there was about 30-something witnesses on this UFO, and the guy pulled out a telescope in the daylight and actually captured a close-up of this UFO I'm going to send you here. Well, I captured it not too long ago, and it was 2 cigars put together, and you'll see it. And it's pretty clear. I slowed it down in the end of the video too. But I sent you that since I just ran across it without having to go back and search for it. But it looks exactly like that one, except the guy in daytime, he's got a lot more detail than I do. But I've got it maneuvering, coming in, and going underneath the clouds. So, yep. Apparently it was attracted to my little pointer because it was so cloudy. Nobody in the right mind trying to film a UFO is going to go out there with the clouds like that. And I go out there and I have pretty good luck. If there's a pothole up there that's clear, I get a flyby every time. Yeah, it's not that long. I just keep them. I keep them short. People tend to watch the whole video if it's only 25 seconds long, but you make that thing 3 minutes, they won't watch 10 seconds of it and they hang up on it. Yeah. Yep. 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 I got some really good followers that they have a lot of really smart, intelligent questions to ask, and it's nice to see their take on it because it's not. I'm not stuck in one way of looking at these objects. It's not just me; it's other people looking at it the same way, and it makes you feel better, like you're not totally losing your mind. There's Tinkerbell there. Yeah.
I told him like if you want to, you can come on the show, and just say what's on your mind and stuff. So because there's actually other people that do have those kind of theories too. That like they believe that it's actually demons and stuff like that.
Yep.
There's another one right
Well,
here.
there very well could be some of them, but you put
That's
me in a
cool.
haunted house somewhere that's bad,
Mm-hmm.
man, the hair stands up on the back of my head, and I won't.
Down.
I don't function very well.
Shows up.
Yeah.
I've been on the ghost hunts.
There it is. That is
I
the
don't practice a
Tinkerbell.
bunch of that stuff.
Right.
Don't
Took
go
it
around
long
trying to
to
call
get
it
here.
on myself or in the house. Hey, please give us a sign. That kind of crap.
Yeah.
About that time, your head spins on backwards, and your daughter might come out of the bedroom, puking pea soup
Tinkerbell.
or something.
There
You
it
don't
is.
know.
Yeah.
It's the Tinkerbell.
Try to
right
steer
there.
away from that stuff. But
Just showed up.
I mean, it's just. I mean, people like have a idea though
It
that
was
like you're
visible
not going
without
to be
the.
open
There
to
it goes.
their,
This is so
their,
damn
their
fast.
ideas about it. I mean, I'm open to everybody's opinions when it comes
Yep.
to it. I mean,
Yep.
I just this is actually the kind of stuff that I started out with when I got curious about it. Because John, he would post sightings of UFOs and aliens and stuff, and that's how I actually got curious about editing videos too.
yeah,
Because
I can't.
I started a Facebook group a long time ago. I can't even remember how long, but before I started doing videos. I would share other people's UFO sightings and stories and ghost stories and all that. And it just started from there. And John was one of the first.
Well, it was different. Oh,
That is nice. You got a really good shot there.
yeah. And I had this orb about a month ago that showed up that had a square. It was like if the orb was ahead, where the square indention would be right where his mouth was at.
Yeah.
And it was just weird to have a square there in the front of an orb looking at you.
That one, it looks like the laser was hard. It was hard for you to keep up with it.
that was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna send you all three of the large spear compilations, so you got them.
Well,
You can play those real quick. There's the third one right here. The last one's actually the first one I made, so.
Okay. Let me make sure I got everything set up there, because I know. No, I have to. Yeah, there we go. I will start the first one. Yeah, no, that one's
look at the
just
big
clear as
flash.
day, and it gets
That's
bigger.
just too cool.
Yeah, they get really close to me.
And it zoomed out. Oh wow.
All right.
Yeah, I probably got some radiation off of them. What do you think?
There's a very bright one.
Wow.
Straight out of the Gulf. And it's almost directly overhead.
Yeah, I weren't kidding when I said I got
It's extremely
really
bright.
close ones.
You do not need night vision to see it.
Oh wow, there's two of them right there.
And it just flashed me back.
That was that flashing that you was talking about. It flashed you back.
Yep.
It's headed to the south.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
They always interacted with me no matter what.
that's a show and a half right there, folks.
And then the other thing I started noticing after doing it so long was the objects that were sitting static up in
That's
outer
gonna
space.
cloak
That
out.
they're enormous. They got to be a few miles
See you later,
long.
little buddy.
They light up all of a sudden. The complete
pretty
thing
cool.
for a tenth of a second,
Here's an
long enough
object
for
that
me to see it, and notice it,
Literally
and
came
video
straight
it.
up.
And some
This
of them,
is
when I
where the
zoomed
five
it in, you
objects
can
were
see a
last
lot
night
of
at the
structural
same time.
detail on these things.
Look at that.
And the one
That's
guy has
pretty
a channel.
cool.
He monitors the the sun UFOs and the sun videos and
There's
stuff.
another one tonight that's even
I've got a
bigger
triangle
than
on here, or
this
not a
one.
triangle, a boomerang. It's got to be.
It's humongous.
The guy said, I think in his video, he estimated to be 10 miles long. I don't know how big it is. I've got it sitting still. He's got it flying over the edge of the sun.
There's two.
Alright.
One right
And
up underneath it.
It's the same object, the
It's
same
past each
boomerang
other.
looking
This one
thing.
was like
And I captured it.
stupid
It's just
crazy
sitting
low.
up there. It lit up
It's that
half
big.
a second, and there it is. And then it didn't go anywhere. It's still sitting there. And I'll see 5 or 6 of these things. All of my videos are riddled with them. And in the beginning, when I first
Moving
started
right
filming
over
them,
city edge.
recording for over a year, I didn't
At
even
least
take any
they're,
notice of that. I
close
said,
to it.
well, that's kind of weird. They look like
Probably
lightning
not land
bolts in
out there.
space or something.
Look how big he
Because
is
it
now.
light
Look
up,
at that.
and then it was
Look at
gone. And
You see how big he
you know,
got?
looking at it with my eyeball and through the night vision, that was what it looked like. It looked like some kind of static spark or something. Then I realized
He's gonna
it's an
fire away.
object illuminating itself way up there.
Oh yeah.
So if you zoom it in and you take a screenshot of it and you slow it
That's
down
what
right
it's
when it illuminates, you can see it just real clear.
Well,
Well, even with this one, it was far
that's a
out,
show
like
and
you
a half
said,
right
and then
there,
it came
folks.
in close to you, and then it freaking lit up.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yep.
cool. So I mean, it intentionally
Now
came
it's gonna
in
cloak
closer
out.
to you, and then
see you later, little buddy.
that's pretty good.
Here's a very bright
Yeah, it
one.
ain't too bad for amateur, I guess.
Yeah.
Straight
Well, it was
out
like
of
you
the
said though.
Gulf.
It's like they seem to be targeting you.
It is almost
Yeah,
directly
they're
overhead.
they definitely want me to
It's
video them for
extremely
whatever
bright.
reason.
You do not need night vision to
Well,
see it.
it comes down to aliens want
And
to
it
be,
just
you know,
flashed
movie
me back.
stars too.
Problem
So
is, I ain't
yeah,
got no
little
followers.
buddy.
Well, Bob Dub's cat's kind of like that too. Like she does her streams, and that cat will
Alright.
come in there and lay it up on top of his perch,
Thank you.
right next to her. And like if he's late, he'll come in there and
Alright.
freaking sit up on top of her
Thank
table
you.
and like he's apologizing to her.
Yeah, they
Look at
do
the big
that.
flash. That's just too cool.
Yeah, this is nice right here. This is a good compilation you put together right here. I mean, they're clear as
Well, that's a big
well, as
flash.
clear as night, I guess you could say.
Thank you,
Yeah.
there, partner.
The night vision I got is it's
And it is turning
1040p, I
to the
think,
south.
the pixel. So my pixel is really good, and then the
Straight
refresh
down the
rate on
East
it
Coast.
is fast also. And I was so paranoid. I said, if this thing breaks, I'm gonna cry. I'm literally gonna cry. I better buy a backup. So I bought the newer one
Look at the big flash.
with all these
That's just
gizmos
too
and
cool.
buttons on it, and the refresh rate is half the speed of this one. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm still using the
This
same
is
original
one of
one
the
after
biggest
3
ones
years.
yet. It just came out of the West
Good.
Coast. It's very big and very
All
bright.
right, I found
Doesn't appear to be
the
all that far
I
up
found the
in
one that
sky.
strikes the truck. I gave up looking for it on YouTube, so I had to go over to Twitter to find it. I'm like, really?
The energy coming off this thing.
It's there. It's on YouTube, but the problem is
It's
finding it. I
crazy
got so
amount
many
of energy.
videos.
This thing flashes me. I'll probably
Oh.
get a damn sunburn.
Here you go. I gave you a link to it.
Okay.
This is the one where
It's-
Tinkerbell hits my
It's
truck.
changing direction.
That's the one we gotta
It's
see.
heading to the north now.
That's the one we gotta see. Let me switch it over to you on Skype real quick, and then I'll
That's just crazy.
put that one on.
Yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it hit the truck. That's a funny part about it. Not too many people have a video like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And people couldn't believe it. They were like, "Oh man, you set that up. You faked that. That you must have did something to do that." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm just sitting in the same spot recording the orbs."
Yeah.
And then some people went, "Well, if you didn't use that laser beam, they could have seen where they were going." I'm like, "Dude, I wasn't using a laser beam. He just hit the truck,
Mhm.
And my pointer, my little laser I use is so weak, you just can't. Well, it's just not strong at all. It's like something you see in a classroom. But the night vision makes it look like it's some big industrial laser or something because it shows up.
Mhm.
But it's not. But I've got one that shows up like a lightsaber, but I never use it. I never pull it out. I don't have to. They're playing in the yard, so why would I have to need that?
It hit right at the beginning of the video, didn't it?
Yeah. I slowed it down, and then I did it normal speed, and it's pretty traumatic how hard that thing actually hits.
Like I heard it right as soon as the video started. I heard it, and that was
Yeah,
in regular.
Yeah, Jack over at Cosmic Road, I sent it to him so he could take a look at it. And dang, he made a whole show about it on a Sunday. I was like, wow, Jack.
Yeah. That was
Every time it hit the truck, he go, damn.
That's pretty profound, actually. Like, you've actually got a sound to go with it.
Yeah. Because, man, it shook the whole truck, and it really never crossed my mind that, how the hell did something shake the truck? My tires on that military truck they're almost 4 foot tall. That's how big the truck is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a humongous truck, big old Caterpillar diesel engine in it, and I bought the thing just to have it. It didn't run, and just song and a dance, and well, we got that thing going. I drove it home, and it's been sitting in the same spot ever since. And I use it for recording off of. Like I say, it's probably saved me $200 in bug spray so far,
Well,
and definitely a lot of bites. And I don't want none of that Bill Gates virus.
yeah. Now, if you want, man, would you be willing to come back again and do another episode with me? We've come to about an hour and
Oh, yeah.
22
Yeah.
minutes and stuff. No.
Yeah, we're good.
Because this is really good stuff, and like I said, I really think that people in WoW would love to see this stuff. I mean, you've come to probably one of the best platforms to do these videos on, to be honest. And
Yeah. Yep.
that's the thing that really annoys me, is because, like I said, I had to actually delete the ones we had, and I would love to have you come back. And like I said,
Now
anytime.
you got a bunch. You got a bunch you can use now, so feel free to use any of them that you need at any time. So
That's good to know. And I still want to have you come on to WoW Talk with me and do this
Yeah.
stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
We usually do shows on Thursday. If I don't have somebody to live stream, I'll do recordings. So
Yeah.
I'll edit this up to like 15 minutes, and I'll post like 15 minutes of this again at a
Yep.
time, so that
Yep.
people will get more views on it. So um, before we head out, would you be willing to tell everybody how to get in touch with you? I didn't mention anything about your YouTube channel or anything because I figured it'd be good for you to do it. So
Yeah, you can find me Florida Real UFO, or you can find me under John Bell on X, or if you don't remember all that stuff and you're not that technical, if you just Google me, John Bell UFO, you'll see all my links will show up in a big, nice picture of my dog and me. So at least I'm Google worthy.
yeah. Now your YouTube channel is named Florida.
Florida Real UFO.
Yeah, there you go. I have to keep this on widescreen so that I can, because I do it in window mode, and if I get off of here, it'll make the OBS go black. So
But yeah, anything to help you guys out, just let me know.
yeah.
And I you I think you added me on YouTube this morning, right?
Yes, I have added you on YouTube. I added you on Skype, and if you want, I don't know if you're on Discord or not, but if you are on
No,
there,
not on Discord, but I'm on the X. So if
Mhm.
you could get me on X, would be great too.
yeah, I actually have your videos from X on here, so all I have to do is
Yep.
freaking follow you. And now, are you on Minds.com?
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just I'm on Skype for the radio show every Wednesday. I'm on there, and
Okay.
I don't know. They're just kind of funny sometimes. It's like last week I had a bunch of announcements, different UFOs and stuff like that. I do almost like a weather report with UFOs, and people listen to it. I mean, they actually listen to it. And anyway, I didn't even get a chance to even say anything.
Mhm.
And that was a show the week before last. And then last night I showed up and I was like, well, hell, everybody's here now.
Yeah.
And I forgot the microphone was on. I was like, shit, they didn't need me. And the guy kept calling me over and over on Skype. And I'm like, dude, why would you keep calling me? And the only time I do, they usually they let me talk just before the show is ended.
Mhm.
And I'll have just a few seconds or something. But, other times they give me half the damn show when there's nobody shows up.
Yeah.
Sometimes Nancy won't show up. Sometimes Dee won't show up. And Mark is there. And Mark can't do the show by himself.
Mhm. Well,
So,
I'll tell you what. All you got to do is tell me you want to come on, and I'll put you on the show. Okay? I mean, because that's what I'm saying. This
yep.
is the kind of content that we this channel actually started out with UFO sightings and with paranormal sightings. More paranormal than UFOs. I'll be honest, but
The radio show has turned into a political same crap, man. It makes me depressed when I listen to all them. And I've got plenty of input on it, but it runs my damn blood pressure up.
yeah. We try to stay away from it on WoW, and like with the conspiracy theories and everything, we'll keep that down because John he's always been adamant about not getting caught up in all that. It's bad
Yep.
enough that YouTube's on
Yep.
our butt because of the videos, but then you go and you throw conspiracy theories up in there too, and it's just
Yep.
as hard, So
Well, I can do all kinds of subjects from the ghost hunting to all that stuff. I've got experiences with the spiritual stuff, and I just don't roll that way. I don't sit there and seance and Ouija boards and all that stuff. Walk around the house with a meter in my hand. I've been on ghost hunts with Nancy, and Nancy was in the original Ghost Hunter. She was part of that team, and that's where she comes from.
yeah, you was telling me
And
that last night.
she's got talent. She's the only one that we went up to a prison from the 1800s, and we did a tour in there, and shit, that place I mean, they got the original cells, everything in there. No air conditioner. You can imagine how hot the damn place is. It's in South Georgia, and I walked in the door, and I try not to tune anything like that. You know, to tune in with it. I don't want any shit following me around.
Oh, it's like the
But I walk in the door, I know where it's at. I know what happened, you know, so to speak. And then I was kind of everybody ignored me. And then by the time it was all over with, they didn't see anything, didn't find anything. I was the only one that filmed anything, and I filmed 2 UFO orbs out in the yard. That was it. I was the only one that had any footage of anything. And I told Nancy, I said, I keep waiting on seeing a black demon standing behind you, but I just couldn't capture him. I was trying. So I figured that would get her going if I captured the image of something. I took FLIR, I took everything up there.
Well, it was great having you and everything. So I will we'll call it quits right here, and I will send you a copy of this if you want me to. It's up to you.
You don't have to. You could edit that part out about Nancy and stuff, though.
Okay. Well, it's live stream, so there's no editing. So she's done heard you. So I really appreciate you being here, man, and we'll talk next time, okay?
All right, sounds good now. I appreciate it.
You have a good one, man.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right, that's done on there. And well, let me double check because I have to stop YouTube. Yeah, there we go. It's weird how it is because at one time I've got it set up on my OBS where I can stream on multiple platforms, but OBS would always stop when the rest of them did. Now I have to go in and stop it manually. So
Yep.
it never did that before, which was weird for me.
Yeah, that Dave Campanelli last night. He's going to be on your show Saturday.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And we got into it live on the air, and you know, Mark wouldn't hit the button to mute it or anything. He just let it go out, and I was like, F you, F this, F that, because he was doing the same thing to me, and he insulted me on the air, right on the air, and told me he was sick of my videos, and it was all out of focus, and it was a bunch of horse shit. And I mean, it just came out of the middle of nowhere, man. I just let him have it.
Yeah.
And I told Nancy, I said, I don't feel like coming back.
Well, I think it's in the air too because like I have a guy that's on a show that I do about Tech Talk, and he's a real nerdish guy, you know, and he ended up having an argument with Bill Ottman from Mines on their Canary thing. Got into a straight up nerd fight, and I've never. and it was like I told Mark last night. I love freaking nerd fights. You know what I mean? They're like one step. The only thing better than them is like girl fights. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And freaking. So you there?
Oh, if I could have reached through the microphone and grabbed Dave around the neck, I'd have had him. That would have been it.
No, you wanted to go to the East Coast to beat his ass.
Yeah, I didn't know that he lived in Florida. I'd been in the truck on the way. I was fired up too, boy, and I think Nancy kicked him off for a while, and I was kind of surprised they let him come back. But he's never done video. He's only done pictures, still shots.
Yeah.
And the still shots that I looked at could have been faked. I mean, literally, they could have been faked. I mean, it looked like some of that